Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. Today we're going to be unboxing a game called Deep Madness. This game comes from Diemension Games. That's right, you want to say Dimension Games, but it's actually D-I-E. So Diemension Games, it's actually kind of clever, I like it. It's a sci-fi horror game for 1 to 6 players. Right on the box there it says 1. So that's right out of the box from the beginning. The core experience is soloable. So I'm really excited for this one because it's a crazy mashup of, I don't know how else to explain this. Think H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu smashed together with space. To me that's awesome, and of course Cthulhu and H.P. Lovecraft and those types of works, I have a bunch of games like them, but I don't have any that involve space. So this intrigued me quite a bit, and I have a lot of content for Deep Madness that I really want to show off. So this is the beginning, the core experience that I'm going to unbox for you, and I have all the other content for Deep Madness, which I'm also going to unbox and show you, because this particular product is coming back to Kickstarter very soon. I'll drop that information into the comments or description below. For now, let's go ahead and take a look at the outside of the box. You might notice already there's no shrink wrap on it. Why is that? I took it off. I found for some crazy reason when the shrink wrap was on, the glare was just out of control. So I took it off, and I haven't actually pulled the lid off yet. But I'll show you guys the outside of the box here so you get an idea as to what it looks like. So when it sits on your shelf, it's very cool, the artwork. Now, I don't know if it's the same old, no, it is different. So there is a different artwork across all the sides. So doubles up, I think. So maybe the same artwork on two sides and the other two are the same. Okay, we're going to flip this over on its back and hopefully not knock everything inside over into a giant mess. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this for you guys because I'm really excited about this. I think the story in this is going to be what's really cool. You can see the game component list is ridiculously long. I'm going to zoom in here a bit so you can see a little closer up as I walk through this, but you can see, like I said, the game component list is just crazy long. So way up here at the very top here, we've got the description of Deep Madness, which I'm going to go ahead and read out for you guys. Deep Madness is a sci-fi horror board game that thrusts 1 to 6 players into the foreboding, atmospheric corridors of the Kadath deep sea mining facility. Players cooperate as a team of investigators braving the unknown and a mounting sense of dread to unravel the mysteries of the station and the inexplicable forces that are haunting it. What transpired to make the station's communications go dark? What were the miners doing at the bottom of the sea to cause this breakdown? And why are the corporate executives so keenly interested in whatever it was the station's crew discovered? The answers the investigators seek are waiting for them on the ocean floor. But if the team should uncover the truth, it could well drive them to the very brink of madness or beyond. That sounds pretty cool. So enough talk and enough looking on the outside of the box. I think we need to actually crack into this thing. So let's do it. Let's flip this thing over on its front. Now the last thing I'll say here, 14 plus, 90 to 120 minutes to play, 1 to 6 players. That's all you really need to know. Let's do this. So here we go. What is inside this box? I'm very excited for this. Alright, whole miniatures right out of the gate. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So the rule book. Oh my goodness, that is a thick rule book. So first off, the artwork on the cover, if I can do this without the glare, I'm going to adjust my light here just a little bit here, and maybe more so my hands. But that artwork is really cool. So I'm going to get a little bit of a close-up there on that. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so let's take a look on the inside of this. So welcome to Kadath. So you got a full narrative there at the beginning, which I like that a lot. Game overview right here to read. A component breakdown of everything you can expect inside the box. So you got your room tiles, reference cards. You've got all these tiny little minor cards, madness cards, search cards. Oh my goodness. So much stuff. This is going to be cool. Let's see here. Investigators. So 6 investigators and their colored bases. Look at those things. Wow, not going to want to run into those, but we are probably going to be. So just in the base game alone, there's some pretty wild monsters. You've got your setup right from the get-go, so we'll be going through this. I want to let you guys know that this is the beginning video of a showcase, which we will absolutely be doing for Deep Madness. And so I'm going to be going ahead here. The next video after this following up will be the setup for this, and then we'll be going through a playthrough and all that kind of stuff. I'll teach you how to play as we go. It should be quite a bit of fun. We've also got talk about basically just how to set up the game in general, which we should just skip right over for now, and just show you kind of the rough idea of the rulebook. So you get a general sense of the artwork, the presentation, the layout, and the content of the rulebook. As I mentioned, it's quite big. There's a lot going on here. So the addition, now we're down to winning the game, and we're halfway through the book. I can't imagine what's down here. Oh, it's the story stuff. This is cool. So we got variants here. We got epic monster variants, devoured effects, credits, games starting with 4 or 5 investigators, a more prepared team variant. That's cool. I love that they've already added that stuff in. Here we go. Right from the beginning here is the story. So chapter 1's called The Crawling Asphyxia, if I'm saying that correctly or pronouncing that correctly. And you got a whole page of text here, story text to read over. You got your layout here of how to build the particular first chapter out. Like that, it's just awesome. You've got special rules, how to win. You go into your next chapter. So what's really cool is the fact there's a progressing story through this. So every single time you're moving through a scenario, you're reading a gigantic chapter, what feels like almost a book, before you move into the next page. And of course, it's not a book, but it's just a, they're calling them chapters. There's a decent amount of text on those pages, and they're fairly small fonts. So that really helps to add to the, I guess, the feeling of the game. So that's going to be really cool to get through. So this, I'm already up to chapter 7 now. This is chapter 8. And is that where it ends? Yeah, chapter 8. And that's the end. And you got a whole winning thing at the end. You probably don't want to read that or see it. So next up, we've got the miniatures. As you can see, they definitely didn't spare any. Wow, there's a lot in this tray. Extremely creepy. So look at these little guys at the bottom here. Like these little, I don't even know what the heck those things are, but they're terrifying looking. So there's a whole bunch of them along the bottom. And then you get into these guys here, and they look like this. So that's horrific. You got the investigators, of course. These are going to be the characters that you're going to actually choose from as you go through. I'm just going to do a quick adjustment with the light here. There we go. That's much better. That's much better. There we go. You guys can see the detail. Oh, wow, look at those guys. A bunch of them. They're not pleasant looking at all. Next tier up top. Just so many of them all the way up. And then, of course, you get all the way up to the very top section. You get these guys here. Like, what in the heck is that? I don't want to see that. So again, like, it's space, so you can expect to find the weirdest creatures ever. But again, as I mentioned, this is very much inspired by Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft's writings, basically. Okay, so next up, after you get past that miniatures and start drooling over those, you get to the token pack. So there is what looks to be 4 boards deep worth of tokens to punch out. So there's quite a bit there to go through. And I really like the organization of the box. It's well done. I like the clear inserts. That's nice. Okay, so let's see. Let me show you some of the token boards. And so here is the first punch board worth of course, tokens and things like that. So I can only just show you them. You got some, like, what looks to be doors. So that's awesome. They've even got doors to seal off certain areas, is my guess. You got some rotating dials, maybe for the health. I don't know if that's for your character and whatnot. Whole bunch of other tokens, and of course you got health tokens and things like that. Now the other thing too, guys, I have the plastic token set for this, which replaces a chunk of the tokens that are the most used tokens, like health, for instance, and makes them plastic. So if you're familiar with companies like CMON and things like that, this company did the same thing with their plastic tokens. So it's very cool because I like it when you can kind of go to the next level with the quality of the components. So it's unnecessary, like it's not necessary to play the game. It's a nice addition, but I'll show you guys that later on. So for now, we're just going through the base game, which is more than enough. So here's the third punch out and most of this is following the same. Okay, this is probably the most different punch board I've seen so far. So you got, it looks to be doors maybe, and yeah, these are doors. Doors open, closed. More dials. You got some actual characters in there. Totally different setup at the top there. I'm not sure what these are. Definitely some interesting tokens on that one. Okay, so that covers all those. Now we got the really, really nasty, massive miniatures down here. I think we should probably take a look at them because they're huge. And there is your tray of miniatures. So you've got this guy here. It looks absolutely beautiful. Very pleasant individual. And you've got, wow, look at that. Half these things I don't even know what they are. I just don't want to be anywhere near them. So they're fairly big. They're a decent size. Let me take one out and put it in my palm of my hand so you get a general idea. That's a solid sized miniature. That's nothing small for sure. Again, I feel like I'm holding a blob of nothingness in terms of just what this creature is, but it's horrific looking. So it's definitely, again, this is supposed to be a sci-fi fantasy, or not fantasy, sci-fi horror. So you can see that they nailed that on the head. So those are the miniatures. They are fantastic looking. I'm not going to show you every single. Well, you know what? We got a few seconds. Why not? I'll give you a close up of the other ones because these are the big guys. They're probably the most exciting ones to see. So there's one, and then the other one is this guy here. Don't even know what that is. It just looks like he's riding a bunch of legs and arms, which is extremely disgusting. But it looks super cool and gross all at the same time. And then this one this is straight up. This is like something straight out of like that looks like Mansions of Madness style kind of tentacles and everything, craziness. All right, so now that covers the bigger. That's the bigger ones. And of course, there's 3 of those last ones I showed you, so I'm not going to show you the rest. There is a whole bunch of tiles in here. So here we go. So here's some tiles. These are a certain size. There's different sizes for all these. So in this particular set, there's they've got 5, I think, sealed here. So I'm going to show you each of these. Of course, they're all double-sided, so you're going to get something on the front and back of all these. So we'll just rip this. There we go. These should be interesting. I'm looking forward to the artwork on these, so I'll go through these one at a time. So the first one here, we've got this area, which again, I can't even speak to what it is, but the artwork's really, really nice. Looks good. I like it. It gives you a nice depth. It gives you a nice depth feeling to it. You can sense the actual door versus the ladder down to the ground floor. Very cool. Did a good job that way. Turned it over. Oh, that's right. Okay. So this is a mechanic within the game that's really cool. I don't know what the terminology is for it, but this is a particular room when things are going well, things are good, they haven't been consumed or whatever the current state is. This game has a really interesting mechanic where a tile essentially flips at a certain point when it's been, I'm assuming, overrun or consumed. So that's why when you flip this over, you can picture this in your head right now. It looks like that afterwards because, you know, nastiness has just ripped right through it and destroyed it. And that's really cool to me because it just changes the game state. It'll change up the tiles. There's so many games that revolve around tiles as a building out of your structure, what you'll move around the map, but they just stay like that the whole game long. It's cool there's a game mechanic that actually forces you to flip it over and feel like the actual area has been, you know, taken over. So that's cool. I like that. This next tile here, I'm not too sure, looks kind of like a core, like a central core to the mining facility. And of course, when it's taken over, same situation, it does not look pleasant at all. This looks like you got some kind of cryo chamber. Maybe this is where their whole, it's not a cryo chamber, but maybe some type of storage facility potentially for whatever they're mining. It doesn't look like it's like a barracks or anything. And of course, when it's taken over, like, looks a little beat up. I love that. I love that transition from it being looking, you know, oh, this is normal to just pure disaster. Here we go. This is a little bit more normal. This kind of looks like a regular room, like maybe the crew's room or one of the crew's kind of areas to just hang out. And then one day it's just not the kind of room you want to be in anymore. That's awesome. I like that. Okay, and you got a big old generator would be my guess in this one, and engineering room, and then of course, boom. Not looking so good. So that's awesome. I like that. I've said that a few times, but it's just cool. I think when I'm playing, it's going to be nice to see that transition happen. And that's not all, guys. That's just the bigger tiles. Here are the smaller ones. Do a couple at a time here. So here's one, and then it turns into that. Here's this one here, and it flips into this. You can see they're all numbered up in the top right hand corner, so you can even keep them in order if you want to. And obviously when the scenario calls for specific things, then you know exactly which one to pull. I just think the whole nice normal looking mining facility, and then during gameplay having it flip and just go downhill was really smart. I don't even know the mechanic behind what triggers that yet, but I just like the idea of it already. So the visual impact that it makes is already cool, and I'm not even playing the game. So that's pretty cool. Of course, it makes you feel a lot more unnerved, and it also, that's the thing too, like there's not a lot of games out there that actually have a presence about them when things go bad. Sometimes when things go bad, it's as bad as your character takes the damage. So it's kind of cool that the environment itself was going to give you the vibe. If you're looking at 12 tiles and 8 of them look like this, the environment itself is going to be telling you that you're not doing so hot and things are going downhill quickly. That I really like. If that is kind of how, if I might be misinterpreting the whole situation here with those, but I think that was a good choice on their part, and I'll continue to gush about that as I go through these. I just think it's pretty cool. And of course, every single one of these tiles is completely different. You've got like vegetation rooms, and like look at that, like again the detail down to like broken glass and everything. Like they're not just spitting the same artwork on each one of these cards. They're actually creating different tiles on all these, and then different destructive sides to them as well. Really well done. It's awesome. Going to definitely give me that feeling of despair when I'm inside of it, running around hoping to survive whatever nastiness is coming my way. You know, this is the kind of game that would probably need like a sound. It probably needs a soundtrack to really even just amp up the level of immersion. You know, maybe when we're doing our playthrough and things like that, I'll see what I can do about spicing it up. I always enjoy that when I'm doing showcases and stuff like that. I always enjoy taking a theme that's presented in the game and pushing it to the next level during the playthrough and trying to find a way to help show the parts of it thematically that really pop. So maybe I'll try to do something really special with this one. I've got ideas for some of the ones I'm doing right now and have in the pipes, so this is definitely one I could see. I already had some ideas on what I could do with this. So it should be quite a bit of fun. So guys, we're getting to the end here. I know there's a lot. There's 30 tiles. So we're on the 28th tile now. But I really wanted to show you every single one because it's not like I'm showing you the same tile every time. They're all totally different. They have a different look. They have a different number of doors and all that stuff. I don't even know what the heck that is. But it doesn't look good there. That's it. So that's all of those. Like, literally just can barely get my hand around that stack. Okay, so that is all those. So moving right along here, we've got plastic bases. Of course, wow, that is a lot. I did not expect that many. So I guess every single miniature in the game is going to get a plastic base. It's kind of cool. I didn't know that was a thing with this one. So that's interesting. There's a lot there. These must be all for the enemies, of course. The enemies will get a black base, is my assumption. All the heroes, so that they can differentiate themselves besides the color brown, are going to have color bases as well. And that'll help you also know what player you are, of course. You've got standees, so I'm guessing standees, or sorry, the stands for the standees are likely for like doors, would be my guess, because I think we saw a bunch of punch-outs for some of the doors around the mining facility, and of course you've got these for the spindle type tokens that you got to punch out. Dice. So the dice in the game are really cool. They're custom made for the game. Oh yeah, that looks great. So they have a really nice vibe to them. The numbers are unique. I like the font on the actual numbering. It's awesome. Some of the sides are just regular numbers. Other sides have this symbol beside it, which I'm not sure what it is yet. This die is really, really cool. Like look at all the interesting, like I don't know, the icons are just really, really nice and sharp and pop really well. So there's a bunch of things there. It's obviously a special die. I'm not too sure exactly what those mean, but they look really well done. And again, the dice quality there is really good. I can tell you right now, those are really nice dice. Those are not cheap dice. So well done on that part for them. Because I don't know, when you have dice in a game, to me, at this point in time in modern board gaming, the dice gotta be good quality. It drives me crazy when you see dice that are just super cheap. So these ones, I can tell you right now, are really nice. And they're so nice. In fact, this is the other thing I'm really excited to show you guys later on. Here's some additional dice packs for the game that, you know, allow other players to have a different set of colored dice. So I'll be showing you guys a bunch of that kind of stuff in other unboxing videos as well. So first off, backs of the cards just have generic artwork on them so that you can tell you know, this might be going through a door, stuff like that. It might be searching. This one here looks like really bad news, like the worst thing you'd ever want to see. So it's probably like an enemy deck of some kind, and then you've got these ones. So let's flip them over and find out what they actually are. So the first couple ones are actually blank. I'm not too sure why that is. I looked at that off camera just a second ago and I wasn't too sure, but you've got yourself each of the heroes would be my guess. So that would mean there should be 6 of them. Yep. So moving right along with our cards here, I had to readjust the light so that we can get the focus to hit perfectly, but there you go. So again, this is just a deck from my understanding of all the different potential enemies that can come out. There's a number at the bottom, which I'm not sure if that's referencing health or what yet, but I guess we'll find out in the future. Some of these are horrendously scary looking. Oh, crazy. So you've got actual, oh, okay, interesting. So you're gonna have maybe rooms are gonna flip based off of, interesting. I don't know what, like that's an, so obviously this deck is going to be the one that maybe triggers these rooms to go into their corrupted side, I guess. There's a bunch of them for every single room, probably all the way up to 30. Yeah. Alright, so that's that. That makes sense. So those are the mini cards inside the core game. Next, we've got 2... Oh my gosh, there's cards underneath these cards. I'll show you the back of these, because I don't know what they are yet, but this is the back artwork. It's a little scary looking. This one here looks like a bigger size version of the mini cards. And there's just a whole bunch of them. Okay, so let's flip it over and see what we got. So first off the top, we got things like a utility knife, so we got an ability, we got some numbers at the bottom of the card. Don't know how to actually tell you what those are, but let's just go through the cards so you can kind of see them at a glance. Grappler, axe, electric rod, scalpel, hydrogen torch, ore cutter, pistol, SMGs, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Shotguns, assault rifles, spear guns, injection guns, rivet guns, a javelin launcher. That's wild. Protective suit, depth charger, inner healing. Wow, there's a lot of different things here. Healing syringe. So there seems to be a few of each card sometimes. Oh, here we go. So these might be, I'm not sure what these are. These actually look like they're part of a story, an event, but there's actually some decent flavor text there. That's quite a bit. So that's kind of cool. So it looks like there's, I don't want to spoil that kind of stuff, but there's a handful of those. So that's interesting. And it might actually, yeah, it does. It kind of merges into this deck here. Okay, so we've got the web leakage. So again, a whole bunch of these. I don't want to show them off too much because they could be spoilers territory. This, I have no idea what these are. So these cards are, they look like that on the back. It looks like an eyeball. It is an eyeball. That's super creepy. So a bunch of these, not too sure. These could be per scenario. I'm not going to focus on them too long because, again, spoilers. Getting all the way down here to the end, yes, we got chapters here. So once you get to chapters, definitely probably relating back to the chapters within the book that we went through. So I don't want to spoil those. Maybe they're different endings or different ways to play the game. Do not want to ruin that, but that's cool. I noticed that there was only chapter 4 to chapter 8 there, so that's kind of interesting. So maybe there's some crossroad decisions that have to be made. So we'll be using this during the playthrough. Game round, investigator actions, investigator attack. There should be 6 of these for all 6 players. There's your character card, so that's pretty cool. It's nice artwork and good text, easy to read. Your health and sanity, very similar, like I mentioned, to the Cthulhu style, well, not Cthulhu, but Cthulhu-based games. Like Eldritch, kind of reminds me of Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror in terms of the sanity and health. They might be called something different in this particular game, but got Randy Carter. These are all the different characters. Then you get into the nasty monsters. What are they at the bottom here? So move. Oh, it's telling all the different things it does me when it activates. Movement, attack, the attacking, the ravenous. Some numbers on this one I'm not too familiar with, but that's interesting. So now you've got kind of at least a card to kind of let you know what these things do. Their names, they look putrid, twisted. Yeah, that's probably what you'd call them if you were on a space base and you just ran into them. You'd be like, yeah, that's Mind Eater. That's what those little crab things are. That is horrific. Oh my goodness. Well, looks like we've got a mission to accomplish. So that's it, guys. That's actually the entire base game. There's a lot of stuff in this box. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is not the end. This is the end of the core box unboxing, but I am going to be unboxing, in follow-up to this, I'll be unboxing expansions for this game. There's individual miniature packs that are small in size. They look like, I have a couple right here. Here's one, for instance. It's literally a miniature inside of a box. So there's about 5 or 6 of those. There's some plastic doors. There's some trays, dice trays, plastic tokens, extra card decks to go through. And then, of course, I think 3 expansions. So there's a decent amount of extra content to go into this one. So I'm really excited to show you guys everything so that when the Kickstarter rolls around, you have a very good understanding of the content within the game prior to putting your money into it. And plus, we'll also be playing it. And then you'll really have a better understanding of whether or not this is something you want to add to your collection. So either way, as always on my channel, I'm trying to show you guys the content of a game, show you how it's played as it is, and let you guys make up your mind as to whether or not you're interested. So I'm very, very excited for this one myself because I'm a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft's work in general, so this is kind of right up my alley of weirdness, but this should be a good one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support, and as always, keep on rolling solo.